Hey guys, it's JStars360 here with my first Clone Wars vlog. For this one, I'm going to be talking about the movie that served as the pilot. The one that was, I think, originally going to be 3 episodes, which they were going to air together, and then they just decide, hey, let's make it a theatrical release. Now, a bit of background on me and Clone Wars. I love the original Clone Wars. I was excited that we were going to get more Star Wars. I mean, a TV show about Star Wars. How could you not get excited about that? And unfortunately, for reasons I can't remember, I never got a chance to see the movie in Star Wars: The Clone Wars movie in theaters. And so I started the TV show late. That's one of the reasons. There's a little secret. I didn't start actively watching the show until it was nearing the end of its 5th season, until it was in its 5th season. And then I became even more active once it was canceled. And it's part of that was because I never started watching the show initially, because I wanted to wait until I'd seen the movie before I watched the show. And then even when I did, I wasn't that motivated to... I never really managed to motivate myself to watch Season 1 for reasons that I'll go into in a bit, though in retrospect, I probably should have made more of an effort to. But anyway, so I love the Tartakovsky Clone Wars. I was excited for this. I finally saw the movie. I got it for the holidays, so Season 1 they were well into Season 1 by the time I finally saw it, and it sucked. Now this was at the time I thought this was worse than the prequels, because this was back when I thought the prequels were good, back before I saw the Plinkett reviews, and he made me start to realize that prequels weren't as good as I remember them, and helped me enter this phase that Nostalgia Critic has helped with too, that not everything you see as a kid is as good as you remember. But we're not talking about the prequels, we're talking about this movie. It just sucked. It just took the awesomeness that was Star Wars and made it into a dumb little kids movie. The dialogue was really cheesy. I mean, the characters, they took the characters for as lack of characters there was in the prequels. It was even more. I felt like it was even more lacking here. They just felt paper thin. I mean, at least with the Clone Wars, the prequels, I mean, as for as kiddie as they were, they still felt like they were being made for a general audience. I mean, execution was terrible, but particularly for Phantom Menace as far as dumb kids movie, but I mean, it was still something that appealed to everyone. But this, I mean, the writing, it came out as dumb kids movie just because of how bad the writing was. It felt like they were strictly writing it for little kids. It felt like little kids Star Wars time, and that just pissed me off, because Tartakovsky Clone Wars was really badass. And by the way, I'm not reading off of a document. I don't have a review handy of the movie, so forgive me if this is rambly. So that sucked. I didn't really care for the characters. They added Ahsoka. I did not care for her. I thought she was really annoying, really whiny. I mean, she was snippy, which Anakin called snips. I hated the Sky Guy phrase. Ugh! And the battle droids were dumb kids comedy. Everything. I felt really insulted. So, I'll tell you the story, and you can figure out really quickly whether or not you'd like this film. Basically, the plot is the Jedi need to get access to, the Outer Rim planets to win the war. And the trade network is controlled by the Hutts, and they need the Hutts' permission to do that. Now, recently, Jabba the Hutt's son, yes, he has a son, that's... I like this film. So his son has been kidnapped, and the Jedi are going to reclaim the Hutt son, so that way they can, be in Jabba's favor, and that way he'll allow them to use his trade whatever system. But meanwhile, the Separatists, they're kind of behind the kidnapping of Jabba's son. They're trying to pit Jabba against the Jedi so they can control the Hutt system. And it's just really stupid. I mean, little kids would enjoy it, but I would not recommend it to anyone else. And they try to give it, and I could go on about it for hours, but there's like so much wrong with this. And Padme's in it, and they try to give her stuff to do, and what she does is really stupid. It just feels like, hey, let's give Padme something to do, so we can have our Deus Ex Machina ending, and then we meet Jabba's uncle. Jabba has a fucking uncle. Are you kidding me? And she, for some reason, sounds and looks like a woman, which is weird. And talks like this. So, yeah, you can have her pretty quickly. My thoughts on it. I really did not like it. I would not recommend it to anyone except little kids. And it's really disappointing, too, because this is directed by Dave Filoni, who directed a few episodes of The Last Airbender. He directed some of which are incredible. Some of my favorite moments from season 1 were episodes he directed, like the finale to season 1. I think Blue Spirit was him as well. I know he directed Boy in the Iceberg, but he left after season 1 because he was asked to make the Clone Wars. So here's this guy who helped work on some highlights from one of the greatest shows on Nickelodeon, and this is what he comes up with. Disappointing. But there is some good news, and the fact is that this is the worst the Clone Wars series ever. The worst. Like, I am literally, like, it is unbelievable how much better it gets from here. Like, when I look back at the Clone Wars, it's hard to believe that this is the quality that the show used to be at, because when it ends, it was like, because it's come so far in terms of writing, and some of the later stuff is on a completely different level. And it's the point where it feels like legit Star Wars. And I'm trying to think if there's anything else I want to say. And I do feel kind of like an idiot for not giving the show a chance to improve itself. And one thing that you should learn is just because a show has a sucky beginning doesn't mean it's going to stay sucky. It can get better. And as you're going to see, in Clone Wars' case, it does. It gets much, much better. And, sorry, start racking my brain to see if I missed anything. Like, yeah, like, this show is, like, the most improved TV show ever. And you're going to see that next time when we get into season 1, which is a bit better, where it gets a little fun. But yeah, it's still pretty meh. This is JStars360, and I'll see you then. May the Force be with you. Until then, may the Force be with you.